Hey, it's me, and just getting ready to wind down, and something had been on my mind for a minute, and so just figured I'd talk before I call it a day. I think last week was it last week. I think it was last week. I think last week I posted that I was happy, and I think I said that was first time in a couple of years that I've really been happy. And I had friends be like, "Oh, why are you so happy?" But I am. I think this is the first time. It's really been a rough 2-3 years actually, and really functioning and depressed at the same time. Just really, really heavy, but oftentimes with depression, you don't get to take breaks for the most part. You got to function. You got to do what you got to do. And so you learn how to carry it. And it did, all kind of crash on me physically. Um, and I do say that if you need help or you need some assistance, then you should actually get that. I'm an advocate for mental health, and so I think there are healthy ways for you to manage life. A lot of times, especially Black people, we don't think mental health is a real thing. Like our bodies could get a virus or a cold, but we never think that our mind could be affected and get a virus or metaphorically get a cold, where we're just not functioning at 100%. And so, but our minds get affected just like our bodies, and you have to do maintenance and you have to care about the health of your mind, just like you care about the health of your spirit and care about the health of your body. And so, but I something happened to me about 2 weeks ago. So I woke up one morning trying to find this quote by Maya Angelou. And the quote was about courage. I had remembered it, but I was like, I want to find it. So I woke up and went to YouTube to find it. And the quote was that courage is the highest of all virtues, because without courage, we can do nothing consistently. We cannot love consistently. We cannot have faith consistently. We cannot move on consistently. We cannot forgive consistently unless we have courage. And Maya said that. And I think that is so true when you think about it, that there's a certain bravery that you must have on the inside in order to be able to meet challenges and be able to be the best you can be, best person you can be. But what I also stumbled across was another quote she gave, and I'm going to paraphrase what she said. I think it was she was doing she was doing a master class on Oprah, and she starts talking about love, and she starts talking about how love liberates. And she started talking about her mother, and her mother had cancer, and she began to, and I'm paraphrasing, tell her mother, you weren't really good with small kids, but you were a great parent for young adults. And if you need to go, I want you here with me. I want more time with you. But if you must go, go, because I love you. I love you whether you're in China. I love you whether you're in heaven. Love you whether you're in the grave. Love is love. And she began to talk about how love liberates. And when love does not liberate, or when love cannot let go, or love cannot free, she says that's ego. And when I started thinking about my dad's death and how I was processing his death and dying, his dying and his death, when I talked about it, it was always in relationship to me. Like, I am not ready for this. How could you do this to me? How come you didn't love me enough to take care of yourself, to, go to dialysis or to go to your doctors? How come you did not think enough about me in order to take care of you? Because I really don't want to do this. I did not. I was angry, and I had been angry for a long time because I hated that, for the better part of my adult life, since I was about 20, my father has been sick in some kind of ways. And it's always been some type of crisis, going, from home to hospital, to church to hospital, back and forth with him. And the last 7 months of his life, it was hospital every other day. My brothers and I were rotating, just trying to manage, getting calls in the middle of the night like, yeah, well, we need to take him to surgery, and if we don't do it, he's gonna die. But then he could die while he's in surgery. So what do you want us to do? So you're faced with this stuff like at 3:00 in the morning, and you're stuck. And it's like, go ahead, do what you have to do. And it's like, I didn't sign up for this. Like, when did I become an adult? And when did I become some type of parent for you to now have to make these medical decisions, and I don't want to do this? And I was quietly resentful, and I was quietly angry. And then when I listened to Maya, I began to understand, pinpoint my anger. And I began to understand that my dad's death had nothing to do with me. Apparently, my dad fulfilled his purpose. Apparently, all of the music and all of the genius had been done for him. And there came a point where there was nothing left for him to do but die. But that had nothing to do with me. It had everything to do with him. It was his journey. He was going to his God. And when I removed myself, when I heard Maya say that, and I kind of processed it, and it was like I removed myself out of the equation, I began to see my dad's death and my life in very, very different ways. When I realized it wasn't about me, and it had nothing to do with his love for me, it freed me to be able to say, okay, Pop, I release you. I love you. I let you go. I let you rest in peace. I'm not angry anymore. I'm not mad. If you need to rest and if you need to go ahead. And that's something I could not say the day we buried him. I was very angry, quietly livid. But months, over a year later, and I think the Bible says there's a time to grieve, like there's a time to cry, and I think what we have to be sensitive to is that when we sense that God is turning our mourning and he's calling us to come out of it, that we need to be obedient enough to release it and let it go. And from that day on, it felt like 100 pounds was lifted off my shoulder. And even in the midst of that, there, was some other things that I had to let go, and I was very deeply hurt and wounded by it. I mean, almost destroyed over another loss that I experienced in my life. And when I applied the same thing, it's like, you know what? I love you and it's not going to change. And if I have to let you go because this is what you need from me, I love you. I love you whether you're here in Chicago, in China, whether you're in heaven, whether you're with somebody else, whatever it is, wherever you need to be, since I love you, and if this is the last thing I can do for you because I love you, and the last thing to do is to let you go, then I let you go. And I think that when we have that ability and God gives us the grace to let things go. And then you begin to say, here's another thing, that when I let go of my anger about the loss, it turned into, wow, I'm so grateful that I had a father for 40 years of my life. I had a really, really good father. Maybe he wasn't the best husband in the world. He wasn't. But he was a good father. He was a good father. And my time was with him was absolutely wonderful. And I had the support of a father. There's nothing that I ever asked him for that he didn't give me. He was always there. He was a safety net. He was a confidant. And that is more than that some people get in a lifetime. And I was like, I'm so grateful. Like I'm grateful to him. I'm grateful to God for giving me. Yes, I wanted more time. I would have liked to have more time. I would have liked to tell him more that I loved him and he was appreciated. But he went to his grave knowing that I loved him and that I cared about him deeply. And I'm not going to cry. And I'm grateful for that. I am so grateful to have had him. And whether it's a love in my life or something that I've had some body that I've had to let go. When you move your ego out of the way of it, you begin to say, oh, for a moment in my life, somebody loved me and I loved them. That's more than a lot of people can say. Didn't get to keep it, but I had that. And that is so graceful. It's so full of grace. And so wherever you are, if you're experiencing loss on some different levels, it could be a job, it could be a friendship, it could be a love relationship, it could be a parent, whatever it is, our initial response is to be angry because we want more. Like if my father would have died 40 years from now, I still would have been angry. Like I needed more time. It's never going to be enough time. It's never going to be enough time. We're never going to be satisfied. And so it pushes us to whoever you're going to love, you better love them now. You know, if you're going to do anything for God, you better do it now. If you're going to forgive, you better do it now. Because the older we get, the more we see that we're burying our peers, our people who've held us as babies. Those are the precious people that we're losing. And we can look at the news every day and we're losing children. And life is so fleeting. And all we have is right now. And so, of course, if I would have, had this wisdom years ago, I could have been much happier a long time ago. But needless to say, we have this right now. And when we experience loss and we're angry about what we lose or who we lose, it is in some ways, as a great mentor says to me, that we miss the part of ourselves that we experienced while we were with them. The comfort, the love, the safety, the ambiance that this person, whether it was my father or a relationship, pulled the best out of me. And now that I don't have them anymore, I don't have that part of me. And yet there's grace for us to live. And actually the things that my father gave me in his presence, they still comfort me in some ways. And so, so love liberates. And to free somebody ultimately does not cost you anything. To forgive, to let go, to be attracted more by destiny than history is what we are called to do. So that's it. I'm done. I love you all. I hope you are restful, peaceful, happy, And hopefully you found something in my soapbox tonight that helped you. All right. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.